Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the final game of the group stage in the Commonwealth Games. Fiji, they will be taking on Wales. Now, it has already been confirmed a few of the other quarterfinal fixtures that we will see for the men's. New Zealand, they will be going head-to-head with Kenya. Australia, they will be playing Samoa. Fiji at this stage, they will be facing off with Scotland. And then South Africa, more than likely, will be facing off against Canada. But this game, Fiji still want to get themselves another win in the win column. And we will have to wait and see whether or not that will be possible. Currently, Zambia versus Canada is taking place. Zambia actually doing a very decent job keeping Canada close in that game. 19 points to 12 in favor of the Canadians. So we have still got 3.5 minutes left of that game. But while we are waiting, we'll look through at the starting lineups for Fiji and Wales. But it is going to be Joshua Vakunura-Billy in the starting lineup for Fiji. Also, Mothunafangi, Tavita Dalgunu, Nodovalo, a man who did actually get pretty unlucky in that last match, ended up giving away the yellow card near the later stages of the game, which almost ended up costing the Fijians the game. Waisi Nathunu, he is there as well. And then Filippo Satoranga is there at number 10, alongside Mangwala, who is in the starting lineup as well. Then for Wales, it will be Luke Trahan, Tyler Morgan, Sainowski, hopefully I've said that correctly, Tom Brown, Tom Williams, double Toms back-to-back, then Cole Swanwick and Johan Rosa. And that is the Welsh side that they have decided to go with. Do let me know who you think will be taking out this game. At the moment, Canada are looking very strong up against Zambia, who have found themselves still those 7 points behind. But I feel like this game should be relatively one-sided on paper. When you see the lineup for the Fijians with Vakunura-Billy, Mothunafangi, he's been scoring plenty of tries throughout the last little while. But the Welsh, maybe they are just peaking at the right time to be able to go on and get themselves a victory. I've been here for so long before. I've never been here for so long before, says Brandon. Yeah, it has been a busy day of sevens, that is for sure. Later on in the morning, we are going to be covering the semi-finals in the women's as well. I think there might be a bit of an injury to one of the Canadian players. The reason I bring that up is because if there is an injury, he will more than likely be missing from that next game when they do go head-to-head with the Blitz box. Out off the bench, Rasaku, Toimamba, Jerry Tawai, Tanakai Vata. We've actually hardly seen him throughout this one, and Kunatane for the Welsh, for the Fijians, and then Chris Smith, Callum Williams, Owen Jenkins, Morgan Williams, and Lloyd Lewis for the Welsh as well. But these two sides, they can pack a punch. That one's at the post for Canada versus Zambia. So the score goes a little bit more in favor of the Canadians, 24 points to 12 for anyone curious about that game. For the women's side of the draw, it is going to be New Zealand versus Australia in one semi-final, and then Fiji versus Canada in the other side. So it will be interesting to see how it does end up going for that one. Hamish and me, I'm busy with the Rugby Sevens. So there's Brandon in there as well. And I should mention, during the break, I did manage to get those wedges in the air fryer. So I am fingers crossed hoping that they do turn out very nicely in about 25 minutes time or so. But just waiting for the one last minute of the game between Zambia and Canada. And I have to say, a few of these African nations have really impressed me throughout the last little while. Zambia have been looking strong. Uganda were brilliant in their game up against the Australians when they were able to get themselves the draw. Is this the last sevens game today, says Sebastian? It is for the morning session, but then the next session starts up at about 4:30 a.m. But I believe our first game that we are going to be covering is going to be the about 6 o'clock a.m., 6 a.m. game, somewhere around there that it will be taking place. But yeah, still a lot of sevens to go. We've got the quarterfinals and the semi-finals for both men and women's, although we don't see the semi-finals for the men's till tomorrow when we do see those first ones. Good morning, Kiwi Lads. Says Vinny, hope you are doing well, mate. Autumn Internationals with the next big thing, and the Rugby Championships, says Steve Smith. Exactly right. It's going to be awesome. See the Springboks go head-to-head with the All Blacks. We've actually got a couple things planned for the build-up of that live stream. We've got a special guest once again, and maybe more than one special guest, depending on what we line up before the start of that contest. That is the full-time siren. Canada kicking into touch, and now we will get ready for this game between Fiji and Wales. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who will be the leading try scorer of this competition, or in fact, the leading try scorer of this game. Who is getting a double? For me, it's Mothunafangi. He has just been everywhere for Fiji in the last little while. And Ozala Rabua and Fiji all the way, says Viniana there. So Fiji, they have already booked themselves a spot in the quarterfinals. It's just the question of how much form will they be in heading into their game head-to-head with Scotland. So I feel like, Steve, this is a good opportunity to do a bit of scouting, I guess, of the Fijian side, see exactly who the danger men are. But I'm looking forward to seeing that clash. It's going to be a big hit. And dressing as Harry Potter again, Hamish. Maybe. Don't know. I probably, to be fair, for the sevens-wise, it might make more sense to wear that Santa outfit for the morning session. I will consider it heavily, maybe. That's the thing. You probably said it as a joke, but now it's kind of in my head, and I'm like, do I do it? You know, I have everything there. I got the glasses down there that I couldn't see through. And also, good day, Hamish. I've spent my pay. Time for an afternoon beer, says Eric Davison. And there as well. So I hope you are enjoying the nice weather, mate. Currently, believe at the ground, it's about 20 degrees Celsius. Although I think the low was going to be about 15, which the players were not going to be complaining about at all because it's a bit too hot yesterday. I think a lot of them found it. Also, Wales and Fiji. Let's go, says Vinny. And Tosaviti says Nasal. Like I mentioned, Vakuna Rabili, Mithunathangi, Dalgunu, Narovalo, Nathunu as the captain, Sauturanga and Mangwala there for the Fijians. Trahan Morgan, Sainowski there as well for Wales. Tom Brown, Tom Williams, Swanik and Rosser. And there, since I see your name again, Fiji will win, says Vinny in there. It's a good chance that the Fijians will be able to go and get themselves yet again another victory in the sevens. This game probably kicked off about 5 minutes later than it was initially scheduled for, but that does happen with sevens. As soon as you have any type of injury or extra time, normally it does get a little bit more delayed, but it will be Trahan kicking off this one to get us underway for the final match of the pool stages in Birmingham for the Commonwealth Games. That's kicked off short, and it's nicely taken by Vakuna Billy holding the ball in one hand. A dangerous tactic in sevens, but the Fijians, some of them have baseball mitts for hands and can just hang on to it easy peasy. Now, back across Mangwala after Davida Dalgunu tries to spin. Instead goes on the inside to Mangwala now. Another offload, and already Fiji will be in for the first. They are not catching him at all. And it is going to be in the first 30 seconds that Fiji are able to get themselves the very first try of the match. And it is none other than Sauturanga, who has been able to get at the height of 170 centimeters. But boy, he's got some toe when he starts running. And have to Fiji all the way, says Viniana. But brilliant start. Mangwala found the offload off into the hands of Sauturanga. And as soon as he started running, we knew he was through. And he was going to be impossible to catch for the Welsh. Right, well, that was a quick start. Not quite the quickest that we've seen throughout this sevens tournament. I believe we saw a side score in the first 15 seconds of the game. And I want to say that was Canada's women's side up against Sri Lanka women's. And there where they were victorious, 78 points to 0. So it's very, very impressive indeed. Fiji, they haven't quite kicked that to 10. So now Wales will get the opportunity with the ball. The Dragon is sad, says Sebastian. It certainly would be after that defense from from Wales in the first little while. But the good news is, if they win this game by about 40, they will get themselves through to the next round. But they will need to win it by 40, Wales. So that will be the tricky part. Nice cutout pass, though, from Wales. Goes to Tyler Morgan. Now starting to build good leg drive. Big fins as well. Still going forward, Tyler Morgan. He made about 35 meters, and there's an advantage. Little knock on the ground. And it is now going to be Wales taking the quick dab, charging at the line. Nice step from Williams, and he goes in for the try. He almost got crushed by Vakuna Rabili. I think he's popped his shoulder out. And unfortunately, Tom Williams, yes, he scored, but at what cost? Unfortunately, hit late via Vakuna Rabili. Just got crushed like he was some potatoes sitting in the pot ready to be mashed. It was brilliantly done, and then bang, straight down on him. Vakuna Rabili, who are at the quarterfinals, says Miralita. So it will be Fiji versus Scotland, South Africa versus Canada, New Zealand versus Kenya, and Australia versus Samoa. 15 seconds is pretty much running half the field. Must have been nearly a record, says Steve Smith. Yeah, they pretty much gained the kickoff beautifully. It was 10 meters, straight in there, down it goes. It was very impressive to watch. It's a great kick from Wales, though. From the touchline, nice little bit of skill from Tom Williams, who does convert his own try. And now it is going to be 7-7 between Fiji and Wales. Now, this would be a huge upset. And imagine Fiji and Scotland both going into their last games of the sevens, coming in off losses. It would be interesting to see who does play better. I know that Wales were about $28 underdogs for this contest. So this is probably not what the bookies had it at. being 7-0 after 3 minutes. But now Fiji start to find the space once again. It's kicked in behind. Brilliant work from Rasaku. And it's going to be sitting up. In fact, it's Nadovalo. That one sits for him. Did he just slam that down? Did he get it down? For Nadovalo, he is claiming it, but I think he might have rushed that a little bit and might have juggled it on the way down. Let's go, says Metalito. Well, 30 seconds try, first try. Well, first try, fantastic, and come on, Fiji, says Viniana. And that will be a match in the quarterfinals. And there, you may award the try. Yep, just slammed it down. Good control from Nadovalo, and he gets himself his first try of this match up against Wales. So straight away, they just go bang. We'll have that one back. Thank you, Nathunu. Nice pass on the outside to Nadovalo, who did the grubber. Tom Williams trying to keep up with him, but just goes down beautifully. And England and Wales are out. Scotland is the last standing British pillar. Says Sebastian there. That one's gone over from Fiji as well. So now the score is 14 points to 7, as much as the scoreboard wants to say otherwise. And also, I thought Fiji scored. They did indeed. So it is sitting 14 points to 7 at this point in time, but the scoreboard's very slow. We normally at this stage, we know it struggles a little bit with keeping up, so we just kind of allow it while it works out where we are. Nathunu kicks it off once again, goes high. Fiji slap it back onto their side, or it would have been Trajan's ball. He's disappointed. He's putting the ball up against his bald head, screaming at it, going, why wouldn't you stick to my forearms? Got a similar haircut to the touchy, I do see. As well, and also we have got there, this network is slow, says Vinny. And there is after this, the quarterfinal or later. So it will be later on, about 5 or 6 hours time, I believe, the women's semi-final starts. And then in about 7 hours time is when the men's quarterfinals will be starting. So it will be a very early morning start for us here in New Zealand, 7:26. Although that's not too bad. It could be worse. We could be in Western Australia with a 2:26 a.m. start time. That just seems like it's in the middle of nowhere, doesn't it? Nadovalo, in fact, no, it's now going to be once again running for Mkwala. Passes off, finding the offload back, picks it up nicely. Looks very similar to Tamani Valu, is it? The midfielder for Fiji, but Nadovalo gets another one, yeah, but just barely. We got Fiji next to Steve Smith, although you never know. I hope they play very well. And also, we have got there, yeah. Subscribe for the Kiwi lad, says Bila. And the chat and go Fiji, says Nazal Muhammad. And nicely done by Nadovalo. It looks like Fiji are starting to find a bit more momentum in this game. It was 7-all in the early stages, but now it is anything but that. It is 19 points to 7 with a kick to come. And the conversions have been very impressive from Fiji throughout this contest. Not really missing too many, definitely with the hard, wide kicks that he had for himself. Fiji 19, Wales 7. I believe that kick might have missed, so I might have jinxed him big time there. And it's currently 5:12 a.m. here, says Nasal. So I guess about 6 hours time or so, you will get to watch the quarterfinals. So it will actually be not too bad for you, Nasal, possibly. And go Fiji. And yes, Fiji, ever Fiji. Says Viniana, but kicked off now by Natunu. That one's going to be struggling to go the 10, and it just managed to make it. A volleyball spike backwards into the hands of Fiji once again. Another good attack and play on the halfway line. Running sideways to Vita Dalgunu. Nice wide pass. Nadovalo currently having the 2 already. He might be looking for his third very soon. He's been shunted off the ball. Vakonara Billy tackled by 2 of the Welsh defenders. And anyway, at the quarterfinals for the women, it will be New Zealand versus Australia and also Fiji versus Canada. So I would like to think no matter what, we're going to see a Fijiana side in one of the finals. And go nuts Fiji, says Emilio, and that is another brilliant try. The offload from his back, sitting up for Nathunu, and Fiji now sit 26 points to 7 in this contest with still another 19 seconds left of this first half. And yep, thanks, bro, says a nasal there. But yeah, it is going to be very entertaining because Canada coming off a win up against Sri Lanka, 72 points to 0 or so. In fact, it might have been 78 points to 0, which is a huge scoreline. Fijiana, they were able to beat Australia, so I know what win I would rather have going into the finals rounds of the sevens. Beautiful offload, though, from the back. I believe it was once again Mkwala, the man with a gold medal in his cabinet. He wouldn't mind another one, which is something that Fiji men's side are never or have never been able to do for themselves, but they'd like to change that. And also, we've got the game over in my Hamish accent. Subscribe for the Kiwi lads, says Pila there as well for Fiji game over. But 26 points to 7 at halftime. or as the scoreboard likes to say, 14 points to 7. There we go. I insulted it, and it well and truly fixed it. Nathunu leading from the front here. He's had brilliant work out there on the field. He's getting tapped on the shoulder by Vulnerability Tosso, says Emilio. So what we're seeing is Fiji look like they're peaking at the right time when Samoa are playing. They are going to be playing at 8:34 New Zealand time, and that is going to be up against Australia. So that will be a very exciting game, and we will be covering that one on the channel as well. And mate, what is the score? So it is 26 points to 7 currently in favour of Fiji. The 4 tries being scored, 1 for Nodovalo, 1 for Nathunu, and then 1 for Saturanga. I was able to get it earlier on, and 74-0, bonkers mental, says Sebastian. Yeah, that's got to be close to the highest score anywhere, doesn't it? Like for a Sevens game, men or women, I would think. And will you be at the quarterfinals? And there says Miraleta. I am indeed going to be covering the rugby on the channel as well. How do you get 70-plus points in 20 minutes? Crazy. That's like 280 points in an 80-minute reunion game, says Steve. Although, I guess Fiji women, they did it up against Papua New Guinea. They won that game in Union 155-0, which is pretty insane. But I would have wondered how much some of these guys would have beaten Sri Lanka by, because the thing is, Canada beat them by 74 points. New Zealand only beat Sri Lanka by 60 points. And is your brother too? And there says Mineralita, so it will just be myself for that one in Fiji, for Fiji, ever Fiji, says Emilio. And I can smell those wedges as they start to crispen up. They're in the air fryer now. They will be ready at the end of this match. And it's going to be absolutely brilliant. Halftime is over. Nathunu from the halfway line about to kick. And again, Fiji versus Canada in the quarters. So that will be for the women's side of things. In the men's, Fiji, they will be taking on Scotland. And Canada, they will find themselves going head-to-head with the South Africans. Kick goes up. Nicely taken there once again by Fiji. A little bit of a lucky bounce. And they are actually going to be going back for the initial penalty for offside in favour of Fiji. About 30 metres out. All offside in front of the kick. They have said, so Fiji, they'll just look to take this quick tap, keep the game going, and England conceded 3 tries against Sri Lanka. Bloody embarrassments, says Sebastian there as well. Yeah, they did struggle a little bit up against Sri Lanka, didn't they? Because Sri Lanka actually scored up against every opponent other than Samoa. So they did score against New Zealand. They did score against England, but they just missed out up against the Samoans. But I was talking about it earlier. Jamaica are yet to score a point in this competition, whereas Sri Lanka have scored about 20. That is a classic offload from Fiji, running it into the corner. Saturanga does get it down to Vanaka boys. Show them to them, Viti, says Amelia. That was an absolutely brilliant offload into the hands of Felipe Saturanga. It's classic Fiji. I think that was Vulnerability. Yes, it was. Just luring in 2 defenders. It was pretty much a picture-esque play. And it's down. And Saturanga moves up to 2. Right, it's a competition now. Nodovalo on 2. Saturanga on 2. Nathunu on 1. Who can get themselves the hat-trick first? That is the big question. Saturanga, he looks like he's taking the momentum currently, and also $100, says Emilio there. I assume that is for Fiji to win this game. Emilio, possibly. The kick from the touchline hasn't quite gone over there for Waisia Nathunu. Saturanga taking some deep breaths. Fiji just about to kick this one off once again. I believe now it is Rasaku will get us back underway. Fiji looking to the touchline and try for the Rasta in there for the Jamaicans, says Sebastian there. And also we have got there Fiji, says Mops, just outside of the 22. Lloyd Lewis has made his way out of the field for the Welsh. Nice bump off. Now Lloyd Lewis back in the pace. Oh, that could have been an ankle, but he's somehow, he's all right. That was a panicking moment for me because I thought he might have just done something to one of his ankles, but he looks like he is going to be able to continue. There's no shame in losing to Fiji in Rugby Sevens. Wales don't feel bad because we all do, says Ronnie Sullivan. Although that is not what a Scottish person will want to hear for that quarterfinal coming up relatively soon, but it is going to now be a Fijian line-out and Fiji, gold Fiji, says Emilio, and they will certainly be hoping to make their way into the medal contention, if not go all the way for the gold. It's a good fend initially from Tom Brown, but he just ran out of space. Saturanga got him into touch and just wouldn't stop pushing. But Jerry Tawai now on the field for the Fijians. Throws it into the front. It's stolen by Wales. Nicely done. Trey Hahn, now the captain. I'm off to sleep. You cheer for us, go Fiji. Says Vinny there as well. Beautiful offline. Lloyd Lewis looking to go for the corner. He will get there as well. And it is the first try of the match for Wales. And gold all the way, Viti. Says Nasal there, but currently 4 minutes left in this contest. And Wales, that is actually, their second try of the contest. They aren't completely out of it yet, but they will still need a few more tries in the near future. And Gurdrick, in the chat as well. Hope you are doing well, mate. Beautiful offload there from Tom Williams. And Vanaka also to Ben, says Emilio, Lloyd Lewis doing very nicely there. Puts the ball down. Ends up with Jerry Dwight landing on his back. It was accidental, though. Thank you, Kiwi. Good night. And appreciate your effort. Blessings. Says Vinny in there as well. The kick has missed for Wales, so the score will remain 31 points to 12 with only a couple minutes left of this contest. But Lewis, he is applauding himself. He is applauding his side. Wants to see the Welsh come back into this contest. They will need 3 converted tries to be able to do so, though, which is very tricky to do up against the strong Fijian defence. But Tom Williams kicks off high. Looking off to the right-hand side. It's going to be swatted back, and it bounces up. Lloyd Lewis, he'll get another. And that is going to be another try. I think he's been punched in the mouth. No, he hasn't. He's all right. And also, Fiji, my beautiful Fiji. And thanks, bro. We could at least get the results. And there as well says Arvin Chan. So, yeah, the quarterfinals just around the corner. Fiji, they will be taking on Scotland. New Zealand versus Kenya. Samoa versus Australia. And then alongside that, it will be the last matchup between South Africa and Canada for the men's. That was brilliantly done by Wales. They will now be moving up to 19 points on the board if this kick goes over. And Vanaka Nakalevu says Pila there. And Fiji has 2 gold medals in Olympic history and both are gold for rugby sevens. And they have never won a Commonwealth Games gold medal for the sevens. So that is something that they will want to change. It's all yours, Fiji. Says Emilio once again going off short. Nicely taken. But only just by the big man Matana. Uses that leg strength, continues to drive. It's going to be a penalty for not being able to roll away there. He didn't really have anywhere that he could go. And Williams does now stand back up. He's disappointed with that one. Morgan Williams. There are 3 men, with the last name Williams. And the Welsh side, similar to what we've got for Davids in the South African lineup. And now Rasaku just fends off everyone. Still fending, still going. Individual brilliance from Kiminali Rasaku. He just managed to stop about 4 Welsh players from taking him down. That'll be quite an interesting Samoa versus Australia quarters. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. See who does manage to take out that matchup. And we are only about 6 hours or 7 hours away from that one taking place. But Kiminali Rasaku breaking through. Jenkins didn't have him. Williams didn't have him. I believe number 6 there. Williams didn't have him. It's another Williams. Then Jenkins didn't have him. They were struggling to stop him. And gold, Fiji, gold, says Sola there. And they are certainly working their way towards it now. Commentator, do you need water? Says Amelia. I'll probably end up having some water after this live stream so that my voice doesn't quite disappear before doing the later live streams of the night. But I believe our next game that we are going to be covering on the channel will actually be the women's semi-final. I think it's the next matchup that is coming up relatively soon. We may do one of the men's ones that are taking place a little bit earlier on in the day, depending on who are in each of those contests. We'll try and do a couple of years, saying he was tackled a little bit higher there, the Welsh player. Quick tap taken with 15 seconds left on the board. Wales looking to get themselves maybe one last try. Silky offload. Now it's a foot race. He's been ankle tapped twice in a row, but he's going to stay on his feet. And Morgan Williams will be able to get that one down. Oh, he's been crushed, but he's all right. And you're doing a great, Mr. Hamish Vanaka, in there, and you're not going to get much sleep over there, Steve. Yeah, I think more than likely I get like 3 hours maybe if I'm lucky. But then alongside that, hang on, I'm going to have a quick look and see what other men's matches are taking place. I'd like to think that I will sneak a few hours in, and then after George leaves in the afternoon or early afternoon, I'll probably go to sleep for the afternoon. And also we have got there, how's it, brother Hamish? Had some fiber issues with our internet for 2 days. Hope you're well, mate, says Betty V. I'm doing very well, mate. And currently South Africa made their way through to the quarterfinals. So it does mean that they will be taking on the Scottish. And cheers for the stream. I'm just going to hit the bed for a couple of hours myself, says Sebastian there. And I'm about to hit some wedges. Or I guess some, devour some wedges, really. They look quite nice, and they smell all right too. Looking forward to the quarters. Says Viniana there for Fiji. Says Emilio in the chat as well. Looking through at the finals that are taking place, the first semi-final for the women's will be kicking off at 6:42 a.m. So we will hopefully be able to be up nice and early for that game. Then alongside that, there is Fiji women's versus Canada women's at 7:04 a.m. And then the 4 men's quarterfinals do follow along with those games. And we will quickly find out exactly where they are, or what time they are, I should say. And you missed that, says Betty V. And there as well, but a decent performance from Wales to be able to fight back the way that they did. It will give the Scottish just a little bit of confidence. 38 points to 24 at the end of this matchup. But the quarterfinal game, so we are going to get to see England versus Jamaica as one of the games outside of the quarterfinals. Then Malaysia will be taking on, I believe, one of the teams in this one, and Tonga will be taking on the other team in this one. So depending on who Tonga are playing in that next stage, we may end up doing that game as it is at 6:20 a.m. So we might be able to sneak it in alongside the women's finals. But the quarterfinalists, it will be South Africa taking on the Canadians and Scotland taking on the Fijians. So the Scottish game is actually the first one at 2:26 a.m. New Zealand, Perth time for yourself, Steve, but 7:26 a.m. for ourselves here in New Zealand. Cheers for the stream, says Steve Swift. No worries at all. It's great to see you once again, and thank you very much once again for your generosity. It is hugely appreciated. And yeah, hopefully Scotland can get over the line for you. All the best in the quarters, boys. Vanaka says Emilio. So yeah, Fiji versus Scotland, 7:26 a.m. That will be the first men's match, unless we do cover Tonga in their game. That does take place. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys all later on for the quarterfinals and the semi-finals for the women's sevens as well. But thank you all very much. I will see you all for the next